You know, as a kid, sometimes we'd go to like Disneyland or SeaWorld or something. I'd get really excited, you know, when I knew that I was getting ready to go somewhere like that. At this point in my life, get excited about coming to United Robotics. Good morning, beautiful. Guy line out to that side, guy line out to that side. I think that may be a little game changer for me. I don't know why I didn't think of it before. Let's mix some paint.
But before we got those amazing results, I had to do something really stupid first.
This bike is definitely too small for me. Oh, God. I am likely to hurt myself. It's a little easier when you can stand while you're doing it, but I can't do that while holding the phone. Oh, this is stupid. Look at this thing. Now, apparently, painting the back side of the wheel the second color is not something everybody does. I didn't know that before I did it the first time, and I've already done it once, so I'm doing it again. All right, there we go. By no means am I an expert painter at this point, but I have learned a few things. I believe that my taping skills are not absolutely deplorable. I've even learned how to tell when your replaceable paint gun tips have gone bad. Heck, I've even figured out a pretty good way to stop my wheel from spinning while I'm painting it. Now, once again, I really need to give props to my buddy Alex Graff, who gave me the courage and the information necessary to delve into something that I was not comfortable with. And while I'm not great at this, I'm really happy with the results I'm getting overall. It's pretty crazy to think, I didn't just find somebody online to ask some questions to. I actually made a friend. A little last minute wipe down. From a distance, they look great. That 1.3 tip certainly puts the paint out a little faster, and golly, look at that. I mean, it kind of makes me sick, but I'm trying to hold on to the mindset of like, you know, look at the car that's going on. Realistically, it's not that bad when you consider the car that they're going to be put on. All right, second coat is done, and I don't believe I did any more damage the overall product than was already there. And again, it's an opportunity for me to just accept that they're not perfect. I always want everything to be perfect. Years ago, I learned something very interesting to me. I learned that I'm a perfectionist, which sounded very weird to me because I don't do anything perfect. But apparently, being a perfectionist is not about doing things perfectly. It's about some ridiculous need for things to be done perfectly and then being very frustrated when they don't turn out perfect. That's me. Time to take you beauties home. 1, pull the valve stem. I've watched a few different ways that people do this process of breaking the bead. I even watched a guy put a 4x4 on the big long 4x4 on the tire and drive his truck up onto it. All we're looking for here is mechanical advantage. It's a pretty simple concept, but you know, some ways of doing this are certainly going to be better than others. And one of the guys I saw do it did it more or less like this. I was a little concerned, you know, I've put some effort into painting my new wheels, and one day I'll take tires off of those and put new tires on them. So I kind of wanted to practice making sure I don't jack up the wheel when I go through this process. And another thing, I'm kind of putting this towel under here hoping that it's at all helpful. What I'd really love is a nice thick piece of rubber, but I'm also wanting to make sure that the base of this jack doesn't dig into the tire and mess up the tire. The one that I saw the guy use in the video that I watched, it didn't seem to be as gentle a surface as this one does. So I feel a lot better about this than I would have his, but we're just gonna find out. Now I'm kind of a knot weirdo, and I just saw them doing some kind of like a, I don't know, simple overhand knot or something weird. I'm really partial to double fisherman's, so I've already got the one side of it done here. And let's see, we'll make that a little bit bigger. So we'll just put the other side. And yeah, I also know that, you know, most people are going to cut the thing to length, but I'm not just a weirdo about knots, I'm a weirdo about cordage in general. I like maintaining my cordage and not cutting it up when it doesn't need to be cut up, and it doesn't need to be cut up for this. Beauty, eh? Now let's see how that goes. Now, as I began raising this, it kind of wanted to lean in, so I just sort of had to pull the cordage around until it was leaving it up on top. We'll just watch it. Take our time a little bit here. So you can see it's certainly pushing down on the tire here. And I think it's certainly going to wind up hitting the rim here a little bit, so I'm glad I've got this towel in here. Again, I'm not super concerned about the condition of the paint on this wheel, but one day I'll be doing this same process on wheels that I do care about the paint. And sure enough, yeah, it just kind of wants to roll over to the inside there. So we can see how this is leaning way in, and that's certainly not the most desirable. And if I come around here, we can see how the cordage is really just wrapping in that tire real tight. So I'm gonna try to stand this thing up straight, see if that doesn't do better. Another video I watched, the guy actually built like a wooden frame that allowed the jack to kind of be locked in straight up and down. And certainly that's going to be better. I just didn't think it was necessary. We'll see. Well, after not really having much success using the rope method, I went ahead and built this thing. I'm going to include a link in the video to the video I watched where the guy did this, basically this same thing. He used a threaded rod. Man, this is super tight. What I've got is some 3/4 inch cold rolled steel here. I've also got some 1/2 inch, but I was just not entirely certain that wouldn't bend, and I really didn't want to bend it, even if it would, you know, still accomplish the job. I'd like to keep it straight. So I had this section of 3/4 inch that was the right length, and that's what we're going to use. Let's see if this goes any better. Jack is definitely staying upright better. So even though this is definitely staying a lot closer to upright and doing a lot better job, I'm a little bit too far out away from the inside, and so I'm pushing the tire, but I'm not getting the edge here, which is what we really need to be on top of to actually break the bead. So I think I'm gonna adjust this again. So here we are with the edge just right up against the wheel basically. And I'm hopeful that'll work better. Let's try it. All right, there we go. Finally went ahead and popped. So just got to make sure you're close enough to the wheel there, and that does the trick. Yeah, I've got some soapy water sprayed into here, and you just kind of have to get the tire down low enough for the rope to fall through. Oh, I have to be honest, I didn't expect this to be simple, but you know, just like anything else, you see enough people on the internet doing something to make it look really easy. You think, yeah, that'll be easy. I started off with that rope, but I decided maybe it was too small around to really be effective. Just kept slipping through. And I really didn't have a lot of choices that I could find easily. I'm not sure what happened to some of my rope. So I pulled out this stuff, and you know, even as I started using it, I thought, well, I don't know, natural fiber rope, it may not hold up. Hey, guess what? It didn't. I'm just asking myself, what's so wrong with the tried and true method of using a couple of tire irons? Seems to be working pretty well for me. The way I did this last time was not awesome, but seems like not so bad this time. So we'll just do that. Now, there we go. Well, one thing is for certain, this second set of wheels turned out nowhere near as good as the first. And it is absolutely an opportunity for me to just learn to accept that not everything I do is going to be perfect. Most things I do will not be perfect. But you know what? Just get a little bit of, hey, look, that looks great now. Perfect. There we go. Not too bad. It's easier when the rim is firmly affixed to something, but that wasn't too bad at all. What this process might be like, I don't think I'm going to be able to just slap it down by any means, but go. Hey, not bad at all, actually. I was kind of expecting a bit more struggle. You know, how about that? All right, let's just see what we get here. All right, just a little bit of finagling and barely having that tight, which maybe that wasn't even necessary, but just standing it up and kind of pushing on it as I was inflating it seems to have it started pretty good here. And look at that. Heck yeah. So there we are. I've now got 4 matching wheels with hubcaps. And yeah, it's not perfect, but man, I still think it looks pretty great. So I'm happy. And I got a lot of other stuff I need to get to and do. So just call that good and move on to the next thing. $15 for all the plates. And so, yes, sir, right now, thank you. And then these ones are actually mine. That one right there from Oregon being one of the 2 plates that was on this car when it came with me. And my buddy Aaron's got the other one in his shop. All right, anyway, that's it. I'm happy. Hopefully you enjoyed checking out my latest adventure. Like, subscribe, do all the things. Stay safe out there, people.